Already got some mind, body, and spirit in. It's Monday. Woke up at 4 a.m. Got the folks from Rhode Island from the Perez agency here today. We're getting ready to hit the office that's being built out. Got my man C rolling with me, Mr. C. Grant. We're hitting up Marcus and Jim's agency, Surace Smith in Cleveland, Ohio. So stay tuned, should be a good day. Not a lot of people are accomplishing some of the goals and dreams that you set out for yourself. If you were to ask, right now, if everybody had an opportunity to go around the room and say, what's your goal? What's your dream? What do you want for your family? What do you want for your children? What do you want for your in-laws? What do you want for your parents, grandparents, future grandkids? Almost everybody, if not everybody, would be something big. Some big dream that they have for themselves. Some big thing that they want to accomplish. If you look at what that big thing is, it's probably something that 5% of America can obtain, that 1% of America can obtain. And I don't want this to be all about financial. I don't want this to be all about money. But I can tell you at 22, I came in and made $187,000. At 26, I was a millionaire. I've had the pleasure, and it's a true blessing, to walk in almost every phase of life, from standing in a welfare line and being embarrassed as a kid, seeing these people that gave me food stamps in the community, playing football with their children, to middle class, to the other side of the road. And what I can tell you is that there's no way that I would be impacting as many lives without earning the income that I felt like God put in my lap in order to achieve. 4:37 a.m. November 7th, getting ready to head to Youngstown State University here in a few hours. So getting up to get on my mind, body, and spirit, get a little prayer in, a little reading, preparation done, a little bit of scripture, then go for maybe a jog or a run, and then get dressed and ready to get it cracking. So excited, super excited to head to Youngstown and go to Youngstown State, speak to some of these students. Always good when you get to go back home and make an impact. So let's make it happen. Let's grind, baby. No excuses. Inward growth precedes outward growth. And my favorite time is when I know everybody else is sleeping. Got in late after 10 last night, up at 4 o'clock this morning. Game day, no option, no excuses. If you want to have success, you got to lose the excuses. If you want to entertain excuses, you got to lose success. Breakfast of champions. But the biggest breakfast of champions was feeding my spirit, then feeding my mind, then feeding my body. Let's make it happen. You don't have to be the most talented person. You don't have to have all the cards dealt in perfect favor for you. It's your choice to make stuff happen. Let's make it happen. So for, the last few days leading up to today, I've been telling people, I was a little bit nervous, and nobody understood why, because I speak a lot all the time, but you only got one time to be really your first time, one chance, so this is my first time outside of my normal zone, speaking in my hometown at a university I always thought I would go to, and so it was one of those nights where I couldn't sleep. I was up every hour, up at 4 in the morning, taking notes, reading scripture, and getting stuff done, working out. I'm pumped up, man. I feel great, feel good. The nerves are gone. Confident, 100% confident, 100% excited, 100% feel led by the Spirit of God that this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing at this very moment of my life. There's no question about it right now. That's how I feel. I feel like I'm in my element. I feel like I'm in my zone right now. And so we got 50 grind hats we're going to be giving out. We haven't quite decided. We're trying to brainstorm it, Katie and I, on what we're going to do with these grind hats. Are we going to throw them out in the crowd? Are we going to have them sign up for the grind and the first 50 get it? Are we going to wait to lunch? What are we going to do? And so we decided we're going to wait, let it be a game time decision. Got to keep a little bit of suspense. So stay tuned.
Our guest speaker today is Simon Arias, and Simon's a graduate of Ursuline. Is Ursuline here today? Yep. All right. Simon was captain of the Ursuline football team when he was here in Youngstown. He then graduated and went on to Mercyhurst University in Erie, Pennsylvania, where he was also the captain of the football team there. He graduated with a degree in business and began his career with American Income Life Insurance. And we are really excited to have him with us today. He became a regional manager within his first year, and what he's really committed to besides business success is being a great role model and investing his time with young people. So please join me in welcoming Simon Arias.
First 12 years of my life, some of you I've even known during this period, and you may have never known this about me, because I see some folks that I know in this room. And so until I was 12 years old, my mother and I were on welfare. I remember standing in welfare lines in McGuffey Plaza, embarrassed, and going out and seeing some of the same people in the community. At 13 years old, my mother sold our house for $11,000. We moved to Camel. My freshman year of high school, I see Soup City in the house and some people that I know from Camel. At 15 years old, I spent some time in juvenile. At 16 years old, and I'm not encouraging this stuff, but I can tell you that I can relate from people from all different walks of life. I've been broke, I've been middle class, and I've been rich, all before the age of 26. And so I've seen positive and negative. And so at 16, my house was shot up. At 17 years old, I was gifted and blessed to win a state championship with one of my mentors and coaches, Jim Vivo, in the year of 2000. That's when I realized I was getting old. I asked one of the folks from Struthers when they was born. They said 2000. I said, I can't believe this happened to me. And at 18 years old, I lost my best friend to murder. I went to Mercyhurst, graduated 4 years later with a business degree. And then 4 years after that, I did what I never even knew was possible, which was become a millionaire at 26 years old. But more importantly than that, my vision always was to come back to Youngstown, Ohio, and make an impact in people's lives. And so I could tell you, I don't know how many people would be able to stand on this stage in front of high school students in Youngstown, Ohio, and truly say from the bottom of their heart that there's not anywhere else at this moment that I would rather be than in my own hometown. This is literally a dream coming true for me right before my eyes of spending time with you right now. Here's my advice on picking a mentor. Try to never take advice from somebody that you wouldn't want to trade places with. I watch people all the time trying to give advice. They're not in a position to be giving anybody advice. And so you have to be careful with the advice that you allow into your ears, because your ears are not garbage cans. And so I would check to see, what has this person accomplished before I start getting advice from them. If you want advice in marriage, get advice from somebody that knocked it out of the park in marriage. You want advice as an athlete, get advice from somebody that's done a phenomenal job as an athlete. If you want advice in business, find somebody that has knocked it out of the park in business. But be careful who you choose, and when you find a mentor, don't let them go. Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. When I look at the road to the left, to the right, when I was making bad decisions versus when I started making good decisions, the only thing that stuck out to me was the circle of people that I was hanging around. This is probably your biggest challenge right now, Soup City. This is your biggest challenge right now, students. This is your biggest challenge, is that sometimes the people in your inner circle are not good for you. They may be your cousin. They may be your friend. They may be somebody that you grew up with. You have to trust your gut instinct on, is this person good for me? Because you can't help the poor if you become one of them. Not about what you want to do. It's about what you need to do. My mother went to night school here. I went to Arby's sat in night classes with my mother as she worked 2 jobs, 3 jobs, trying to get us off the east side, move us to Camel and get off of welfare and all. My grandmother sat and cut hair all day and all night to try to give me a better opportunity. It's not about what you want to do. If you only grind when you feel like grinding, you're going to be below average. I got news for you. Things that are worth it are hard. You want to have a successful marriage? It's hard. You got to work at it. You got to spend time at it. You want to be the best athlete? You want to tell me you the man? You so great. I'm so fast. This the best man on the team. If you want to be the best man on your college team, if you want to be the best man in Northeast Ohio, you better outwork everybody, which means that you got to do stuff that everybody else isn't willing to do. You start writing the way your life is going to be, the way your life is going to end up from that point forward. And so I want to challenge you guys today to pick up the pen, take control of your life, hold yourself accountable to making the rest of your life the best of your life. Thank you guys for making a dream a reality and let me talk to you today. Thank you.
All right, man, you just finished your first speaking engagement at YSU, talking to over 700 high school kids. How you feeling right now?
Feel phenomenal. You know, I don't know where God's going to take me down this avenue. I feel like it's my passion, my calling. But what I do know is that Youngstown is always going to have a special place in my heart. So this one's going to mean, it's going to be up there, you know, with my best memories ever.
All right, so we're here with Jim, Simon's high school football coach. Jim, if you could just first tell us what it was like coaching Simon when he was young.
The team that won the state championship had a lot of great kids. You know, we had great players, I should say. We had kids going to Ohio State, Washington State, Louisville, Youngstown State, but Simon was the leader of all those guys, and he kept them all in line. And you know, he's who they looked for motivation, inspiration. Simon, I always knew from the first time I met him 18 years ago now that he was going to be successful with whatever he did in life, because his work ethic is second to none.
So having coached Simon and many other kids, what are some of the most important qualities you try to instill into the kids that are on your team?
Well, many of the same things he said today inside. You know, and I was just telling Simon, I have a daughter that's a pretty good golfer and is coming to Youngstown to play golf. It's all about work ethic. You got to be willing to do what other people aren't willing to do, and if you do those things, you set yourself up for success, because not everybody's going to get up at 6 a.m. to do, you know, whether it's weight training, whether it's running, whether it's working on whatever skill, you know, athletically or academically. So I think the work ethic that Simon had instilled in him from an early age, and you know, he used things that maybe happened in his life as inspiration and as motivation, I should say. His work ethic and the work ethic that, you know, you try to instill in all your players is something that once they leave you, it'll carry on with them for the rest of their lives.
So we all know Simon's business side and his side as a coach.
Yeah.
What's a little funny anecdote about Simon?
Here's a great story. We were just talking about this the other day, because one of his teammates is the offensive coordinator at Iowa State, and we went down and watched him at West Virginia. But another coach and I that coached Simon too, we qualified his senior year for the state championship. Simon thought it would be a good idea to kind of shave everyone's heads. It's funny now, it wasn't back then. So one of Simon's real close friends was our quarterback, Josh Swagger, who you know, went on to play at Washington State. And so Josh didn't want to have his hair cut, so he ended up keeping his helmet on and using about 3 rolls of tape to tape his helmet on his head. So, you know, that's one of the funnier things. Simon was all about business even when he was 16, 17 years old. He took it very seriously, and again, he was the catalyst of why we eventually did win the state title.
All right, so one last piece of advice, if you can give anybody out there watching on the grind, you know, life success, business success, how to develop yourself.
Yeah, I just think this: if you find something that you love to do, then it's not work. If I had any type of advice, and that's what I told my own kids, that when you're going to pick a career or something to do, if it's a job and you dread getting up, then you know you're not going to be very successful in it. But if it's do something you're going to love and make that your career, because you're going to be doing that, you know, in today's age, if you graduate at 22 to you're 65, so over 40 years. So make sure whatever you do in life that you have to be passionate about, because if not, it's just going to be a job, and you won't really, you know, get as much fulfillment out of it as it is the other way. So that would be my advice.